Yeah, so Kyle, when you say I love you to your dad, he says I love you. That's how it is with my dad as well.
Every time I part company or hang up the phone with a loved one, I tell them I love them, and they tell me they love me, because you never know when it's the last time.
What about grandfather though? Like, is he dead?
My grandparents have been dead for a long time.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Your grandparents are dead?
How about
Kyle?
How about Grandpa Irvin? Is he still knocking around?
I'm 6 feet tall, but 12 feet taller than your grandpa.
That's just so mean. It's great.
No, seriously, rest in peace to them.
No, seriously, no disrespect. No disrespect.
Yeah. No, but would they say I love you back to you? Because it's my dad says it, my grandfather doesn't.
Yeah, when my grandmother was dying, that was the last thing she said to me. She was all jaundiced up, and she had turned like almost orange because her liver had shut down from the cancer, and the surgeries and stuff, because she had fought for so long. But that was the last thing she told me.
My joke is terrible now. Okay.
She looked like a bird. She was like 80 pounds by then. But her little mouth was all stretched out and parched. And she said, "I love you, Kyle. I love you.
Wow.
You're my number one grandson." Was our only grandson, so
I always tell Colin he's my favorite
son. Grandfather, though,
I say it every day.
My grandmother held it down. She said it. She always said it until she died also. But it's the grandfather that was the one that was like, "Shut up."
It was funny you mentioned grandpa, because there's been plenty of stories about my country farmer grandpa on this show, and like my grandma is Miss like I love you, like me and my dad, obviously. Every time I hang up the phone with my brothers, or like my brothers leave my house or anything, love you, like always. With my grandpa, like it's so ingrained in me to like say I love you at the end of like a phone call with family, but he's the only one that like isn't 100% come, because like I'll be like, all right, see you later, grandpa, I love you, and he'll be like, just kind of like
bad.
Or like a see you later. No, it's him. It's from that generation of like, and like he didn't have like running water as a kid. He didn't have a lot of stuff. And so, like for him,
he was in the wars.
We were down.
Those men couldn't. I don't think those men had that luxury. I don't think they had the luxury of being like soft enough to tell their sons they love him. Now, like maybe our dads, like maybe they don't have quite as much excuse, but unfortunately, they were raised by those guys who didn't have a choice, and it's only us that are like, yeah, you can suck a dick and tell your kids you love them too.
Yeah. Like he'll tell stories about like what his dad was like to him, because like he was just like a kid working on a farm, and he was like, this is just last time I was there, like a couple weekends ago, he was talking about stories, and he's like, I was 11 years old or so, we were putting fence posts in on daddy's property, and I was railing one in and missed, took all the skin plumb off the top of my hand, and my father, he was 50 yards that way. I said, "Son of a bitch, hold my hand." And he looked up. He was a Christian man. He said, "What the hell did you just say?" And he walked over there and he said, I'll give you something to say son of a bitch about. And he plumb near took my head off. He beat the shit out of me. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Grandpa. And he's like, and my grandma was like, yep, that is true. His father was very rough on him.
Well, he objected to your cursing with what the hell? Isn't that like,
so he objected to son of a bitch.
Child.
Yeah, like he would, like my grandpa got smacked around, like he didn't say bad word, like that's the level of like his household. It was like tear up your hand, but you say son of a bitch, like that's not flying in this Christian household, fella.
That blows me away that he could say what the hell. It's like son of a bitch. The fuck kind of language you use it?
Yeah. Actually, the way my grandpa said it is he's like, he came over there and he said, what the hell you doing saying son of a bitch? Except he didn't say hell and he didn't say bitch. And because like he was one of those guys who's like, I'll kill you and your whole family, you son of a gun. Like that. You rascal.
Oh God, he means it. He said son of a gun.
He said son of a gun.
So Taylor, your grandfather had no running water?
No, for a long time my grandma didn't either. They lived in like very rural southern Missouri.
We would do it. Jackie and I had a conversation a couple weeks ago, and it turned into a pour off about our parents. Yeah. I'm like my father was so poor. They lived in they had like fire damage in their house, and they got a settlement. It was like townhouses, and the one next to it caught on fire. And rather than repair the house, they just lived with like scarred, burnt walls and paint that was like peeling and falling off from the heat damage because they needed the settlement to survive and buy food and stuff like that. Yeah. And his father ran away when he was 10. But prior to that, he was this drunk who would beat them. There is this funny family story they tell where my grandfather threw my aunt into the wall. And she landed in between the two studs and sort of sat there, like made a chair out of it. And they all love this. This is all hilarious.
It's like, and she still gets scared when I raise my hand. Like,
and Jackie's like, oh. Did they had hot water? My dad came from a cold water flat. Like he didn't have warm water.
My parents were killed before I was born.
So it caught my attention when Taylor's like, my grandparents didn't have any water. What do they have, a river? How do you survive without water?
They had a spigot, and so they'd have to walk down to the farm area where near like the chicken coop, and then pump water into a bucket, and then take it over. I think I got
to say I win the pour off though, because it sounds like both of these, all these groups of people came from nuclear families where there's a dad and a mom, right? Like even if he's a piece of shit, he lives.
Well, he
there,
ran
right?
away when they was 10. So
okay, all right, that's different. That's true. Okay.
Yeah, but the hard
part told me about how they would use shucked corn cobs to wipe their ass.
Well, that's common practice
because it was a common thing back then.
Oh, they wipe their ass, hoity-toity.
Yeah, with a shucked corn cob.
With their pinkies.
If you ate a half,
he's like, I wasn't penetrating, I was wiping. I swear, we all.
Just shoving up your ass.
You guys said son of a gun earlier.
Clean.
You know, son of a gun's kind of like rougher of an insult than son of a bitch. The origin. Because it was like if you were on a Navy, British Navy warship back in the day, sometimes they let women on the ship, and any child born on the ship and they didn't know who the father was, they just called the kid a son of a gun. So it's like it's kind of like a bastard.
I like that.
Long form. That. Yeah. So it is kind of like not that good. It's kind of an insult.
Do you know the originations of any other of those old sayings? Because I always heard the one from Boondock Saints about the rule of thumb. You know that?
Yeah, I heard that from Boondock Saints also.
Yeah, I don't know if that was
made up. Yeah,
I choose to believe what I was told by that's sassy lesbian meat worker.
No, apparently it's not.
Oh,
well, it was actually never. Believe it or not, it was actually never legal to savagely beat your wife in the United States. Like you can't legally just beat the shit out of people.
Don't tell my wife.
Wow.
Yeah. That in my family, we've been calling like my nieces and nephews and me and what like son of a monkey. It's just been a thing that we said all this time, and it was like a curse word replacement, like whatever. And then I used it on a black guest like a year ago.
I remember
Harley,
another
we don't have
PKA
a lot of
moment.
He says a black guest, like oh, which one? He's like, oh, Wolf. Oh, right. Because I was afraid that you said something racially insensitive to Adrian Peterson. Glad you didn't do that.
Was that another one?
Probably. Yeah.
We had two and he got a vote.
When he's batting 1,000. Does that happen to you, Kyle? Every time there's a podcast, I'm like, when's it gonna happen tonight? When's it gonna happen tonight?
Funny about Woody, you doing that was like I'll get random DMs from people sometimes, and they'll be like, "Yo, Woody said something racist on PKA today."
Not Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, not Adrian Peterson. The Arian Foster.
Of course.
N-word. Oh,
no, people hit me up sometimes. They'll be like, Woody said something racist on PKA today. I'll just get a DM.
It's never on purpose.
No, it's just a DM from a person with no profile picture or anything. Okay.
I remember what I said instead in front of Arian Foster. That a guy wrote Wings or made a video saying he would help him on his weight loss journey.
Oh, so you're going to say the racist thing again.
Wings,
go ahead.
Wings rejected it. I'm going to censor it. And Wings rejected his help. And he was like, I think he said anyway, in his why are you doing this? Why aren't you cool to me? He dropped the N-word. And I quoted him, and I think, and it turns out even in the context of a quote, you can't say that word.
Actually, you're very, very close. And,
okay.
And I know you mean to be. However,
yeah, it's all true so far.
Yeah. However,
difference.
It's only after further review, I think, that we found out that even the black man in his video had never used the N-word. Woody had added the N-word in his memory.
That's all true.
And so he thought he was quoting an N-word, but the black man didn't even say it. My window's open and it's playing. I gotta read. I mean, it's wide open and it's right there. And I'm gonna let you a little secret. Rashad next door is a black man.
Rashad, as you say,
doesn't care. That word, believe it or not. Dude, I remember
Rashad's car got yoinked yesterday, and I watched it happen. They pulled the fucking rollback up, and I could hear like the hydraulic like lift and the winch going and everything, and it makes a uncomfortable noise when you winch a car that doesn't want to be winched. When you're and I'm like looking out the window, and like even the guys I was streaming to, I was like, can y'all hear that? That's my neighbor's car getting fucking repoed right now.
So he's in a bad mood. He wouldn't like any of that,
dude. I saw him outside one time, and he was like, hey, do you play any video games? I play Battlefield, and I was like, video games? No.
Battlefield.
Video games.
I want him on my squad.
I'm trying to get to know Rashad on personal. Well, I gotta keep my.
Be like, we can play with my friend Harley. He plays Battlefield.
You can play with my friend Woody.
You're gonna hate him.
You're gonna hate him.
Dude, I could still remember.
Woody's gonna give you a call sign right away, and you're not gonna like it.
Stop calling me that.
All right.
No, it's a soft A.
How about this? Woody's like, all right, guys, I'm back into Tarkov. I thought.
All right, I'm back in.
Let's do the boys. I'll be. How about you be Black Noir, Rashad? Let's just kick off with that. And I gotta keep I keep seeing my goddamn neighbor's name. It's the fucking windows open.
Your what's name? Your what's name?
It's so hot. Like, I got two like gaming PCs going, so it puts out a tremendous amount of heat in this room. Like it's a tremendous amount of heat. I think I've got 1,000 watts in one and 800 in the other, and they're both grinding right now.
I wouldn't care about the height thing, but I wouldn't want my weight public. Like,
let's keep it floating at least, so I've got a shot someday.
Actually, I would just make my stats public the way like Tom Cruise and Vin Diesel do. It'd be like, yeah, I'm 6'5", 80 pounds.
I've been doing.
What are you, an aluminum rod?
I've been saying mid-30s lately. People ask my age. I'm like mid-30s. For some reason, 37 hits really hard, and like 35. Like I'm like kind of like COVID took those years from me, so I kind of want to still be like, bro, I'm still 35.
Dude, you're doing it wrong. You got it backwards.
Just got to be 40 for the last 10 years.
50. Right, and then they're
pushing
50. Yeah.
All right. Maybe I'll be 40
hard though.
Maybe I'll be 40 for 10
like
years
4 weeks
now.
Away now, but
I've
been saying it for years.
Oh, hang on. You're about to. Do you have anything planned for the big 50th life anniversary?
No.
Good. I don't believe in celebrating birthdays. I think it's horse shit. It's a silly thing. Didn't they start doing birthdays because the birth rate was so low that not low, but the survival rate was so low that it was like a huge deal that you'd made it to 2 and then 3. It was like, oh, look at Johnny. He might make it to 7. You're going to read one day, boy. I think that was the deal. But at this point, most of us make it. At this point, all of us are going to keep making it unless we do something stupid.
That's how I think I'll die.
Stop counting.
There's no way. It's interesting.
I'm convinced I'm going to die based on decision making.
Yeah, that's what birthday parties are about, Taylor. Come on, I just wrote that bit of history for you. Now,
I can't disprove it, but
no, you can't.
No, I can't.
Neither.
Down the line,
birthday parties are fun.
I'm sure if Zach Googles enough, he could find something that supports it, just like I did with all that Holocaust stuff.
Yeah, dude, you can just keep Googling and Googling and Googling, and then sometimes, and if you don't find it, you just make it up. You'll find it.
I had a lot of exposure to Chinese culture over the last couple of years. more than I did before. And what I found was funny were some of the differences. Like when you turn 13 as a Jew, they're like, you get your bar mitzvah, and they're like, "Well, you're a man now. Get to work." I noticed in Chinese culture, 100 days is the celebration.
Yeah,
at 100 days, they're like, "Yep, you did it. Get your ass out there now. Make us
100
proud.
days old.
100 days. Get your ass out there.
It's like American presidents. You got to
contribute. You did it.
Make something happen right there.
I've heard all these different landmarks, but none of them match up with my family, right? Some people say 13 years old, 100 days I've never heard of. I've heard people saying you're a man when you hit puberty. Growing up, it was always when you're financially independent. When you're financially independent, that's what makes
Not
you a man.
even. I'm financially independent, and I'm still like fucking eating cereal at 4 a.m. playing Modern Warfare 2, and I'm like, this can't be being a man, really. Like, it can't be it.
You say that. You say that like that's any different than like some people that would consider like the manliest men, like Lois and Clark on that fucking adventure out west, mapping the fucking continent. You don't think one night they stayed up late and played chess while they had some brandy? It's the same fucking thing. You're just as manly if you stay up late, play some goddamn video games.
That sounds so much manlier than Modern Warfare 2 and cereal.
Brandy and chess with your homeboy Clark. Well, those savages died poorly today, didn't they, old boy? Oh, yes, they screamed like babes. Oh, many of them were babes.
Oh, good year, good year. You know how you know Brandy is
around for another jolly.
Another funny thing about the
like shit.
Oh, you said brandy's classy because it tastes like shit?
Yeah, brandy's just. Have you ever had brandy? I've only had it once, so I'm judging an entire class of beverages.
No, so am I.
Horrid.
I like so whatever Grand Marnier is, I've always enjoyed that for like sipping. I remember I used to think it was classy when I was 19. I had that like 25-year-old roommate who was a bar back. And he was Polish, and he would sip that shit and like make a whole show of it, like swirling it in the glass, and
so
it.
We're like, yes, me too.
Yes,
what's a
me too?
Swishing your 40. Yeah.
I don't know exactly what he did. It seemed like he just drank a lot. I think that's what a bar back does because he was a full-time alcoholic.
That is common in that industry, but yeah, Woody, a barback is
like a running back,
who, like,
except for he drinks.
Yeah, he tackles unruly customers. He just like picks up like empty glasses, so like the bartender just takes all the orders, and the bar back will be like, "Oh, your cup's empty. You're done with your fucking potato skins."
He's the assistant bartender. No, assistant to the bartender.
That's probably all
another thing that I noticed about Chinese culture that was pretty interesting was I started seeing this Chinese doctor. Here and there, like extra from like different from my real doctor.
So when you said you're seeing the doctor, you're not fucking her. That was my
initial
assumption.
It was a him, so yes.
Still stand.
Long Wang.
I
wouldn't be gay.
I would go and. It was interesting. I would get an appointment, and when I first met him, barely spoke English. He made me stick my tongue out, and I stuck it out, and he was like, "Ugh." And then, like, literally, he did that. He would like point at things. He would like touch me. He would like touch me like on my he would touch me like on my foot, and I'd be like, "Ow!" No, I think it's because I have a topographical tongue. You guys familiar with these?
It's like bumpy and stuff.
It's like it looks like I don't want to stick it out because that doctor's made me self-conscious. No, I won't.
I've got coffee.
Also, so did Sam. I stuck it out for Sam. I told him this story. He's like, "Let me see your tongue." I stuck it out, and he was like, "That's disgusting." That tongue.
What is it coated with? Like a yellow bacteria or something?
No, not at all. It's perfect. The color's fine. It's just like it's one of those tongues that are not smooth. Like it has cracks on it. It looks like the dry land in the desert.
I've never
almost.
seen a tongue I don't like. Show me.
Oh, so your tongue's like the beginning of a conditioner commercial.
Oh God.
It's looking kind of great, guys. It's not that great normally. That's
Harley, I would lick me.
I've been eating sand.
It looks like a fairly standard human tongue.
But it's not gay.
Wait,
maybe those little extra papillae on your
tongue results from the loss of tiny hair-like projections. That's it. Yeah, that's my tongue.
Nah, take that away, please. I'm begging you. I appreciate
good effort. That looks like you licked a cold pole.
Kyle's making me feel bad now. Kyle's making me feel bad.
No, your tongue was fine. My tongue looks similar to your tongue sometimes. I got coffee tongue right now. It looks like I've been eating doo-doo, but like
very interesting premise.
Before I forget, I wanted to ask you guys something, like an opinion question, completely different, but I'd like to hear each of your takes on it.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel? Let's just say if us four like pulled up to the mall or a movie theater, we got a time to catch, and we're pull up to the movie theater, and we're driving down this row. And it's just like, if we just go 2 more cars, turn right, and then right, we'll be on the other row. But there's people looking for cars. How do you feel about one of us getting out of the vehicle and taking up the spot?
No. Not only that, like I don't want to retell the story, but like in fast forward, is what he would say. Taylor's dad sent him to get a man who was a boy, kid, teenager out of the spot. The guy was taking a spot. Taylor grabbed the guy, picked him up, got him out of the fucking way, and Taylor's dad rolled into the spot. And I'm not talking about 20 years ago. I'm talking about like 5 years ago.
This was like 5 years ago.
I'm on the other side of this. I think that if we're on this mission and we have the parking lot champion with us, we take advantage of that. Put him in the spot.
I didn't know we had a parking lot champion.
Taylor, we've seen your defense. How's your offense?
Wait. No, I didn't know we had a parking lot champion. That's a phenomenal story.
Going into the movie theater, putting a mouth guard in.
Taylor gets down in a 3-point stance.
Taylor's not with us now.
O-line.
Would you go stand in the spot?
No. I removed that guy from the spot as a way to restore order to parking.
Oh, you didn't take the spot yourself?
We took it because he was attempting to reserve under false pretenses.
He didn't have a car.
So
he was just standing there.
But you removed him on false pretenses.
I removed him physically because he was not in a car. He was on foot. He was standing in a spot, reserving it for someone. And then I moved him.
This is the best.
I restored order, and I would never use my powers to reserve seats. I'm not about that. Get there early. If you want to reserve seats, let's be respectful to everyone else. It's selfish to just have one person there reserving seats. Seinfeld figured this out 25 years ago. I don't care for it. Don't like it.
Wait, so if you got into the theater, I wasn't even talking about that.
Right here.
And I'm going to have a picnic in a parking spot. I'll put a quarter in the meter.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
What I do is I go in and I go, everyone.
When you brought up something that I felt about it was like I was having this debate with my friends, and I was like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go stand in the spot. But if I were driving down the spot and someone used the buddy system to take the spot, I'd be like, and I would keep going.
All right,
I wouldn't say shit. I wouldn't do shit. I sure as hell would go if my dad told me to pick that fucking kid up and move him. I would be like, yes, father. But other than that, like, I'm like, fair play. Like, this is the Wild West out here.
Yeah, it depends on the situation, right? Like I'll say this: if I saw that now, I would just move along because I am a felon, and I can't.
Solid choice.
And the law is probably going to side with whoever I get into the scuffle with in the parking lot, and it is just a parking spot. However, I can imagine a time when I was younger, and maybe my boys were with me, when we would not have put up with that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like I could totally see an ass.
Are you allowed to do that?
No. Like I'll say this: if I did it, I would know that I was doing wrong.
All jokes aside, I am actually on the other side of this, or at least I was. Where I really am is if I saw someone do it, I would just drive by. It's a parking spot. I don't give a fuck.
Yes, exactly.
But having it just on ethically, I don't see why standing in a parking spot is any different than holding the movie theater seat.
You can't do that either.
My friend's getting popcorn. These are the seats for he and I.
Okay, well that's different. The seat right next to me. Like, what do you want to sit next to me, Woody? Like, there's a young lady, and you don't think you sitting down next to the young lady, and she's like, "This is actually my boyfriend's chair," and he's like, "Hey, where's he?" like you know that's wrong.
Technically, like, you know that's wrong. Down,
but in my mind, I know that they're both like ways to reserve things. I don't see why.
Here's how you work. Here's how I work it out when I want to do one of these moral quandaries. I think I put my loved one or myself in like the quasi victim situation. I'm like, oh, okay. So my mother's at the movie theater and she's watching a film with my sister. And
no, wait, go to the parking spot.
A grown ass 50-year-old man comes in because he wants to watch Star Wars alone in the middle of the day.
50.
Almost pushing 50. And
hard.
He flicks the seat thing down next to my mother, the armrest, and plops down next to her and starts eating and muting his phone. And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. My daughter's sitting here. And I don't hear so well out of the right side anymore. So I like to lean to the left, when we whisper." And you're like, "Lady,
silly bitch."
Sounds like it was pretty.
I'm your daughter.
Sounds like it's pretty important that the seat get filled by your daughter. Where is she? I think she needs to relieve herself. Ho ho ho! Can't handle her water, eh?
Can't handle her
like a woman.
No, Woody's allowed to sit there, and if she's like, "That's my daughter's seat," he's allowed to be like, "No, I'm sitting here."
I mean,
I honestly see reserving a seat as a fair and normal thing to do. Like,
I do as well.
I think you could sit in the movie theater
spot as a parallel. If you were standing in that spot, I don't know why
they're not even.
I think we're muddying the water a little too much because, like, we need to remember. Like, the initial thing was like someone dropping someone else off at the theater to have them run in and be like, 4 seats, these are ours. That's unacceptable. If Woody, you're going into a theater and you're with Jackie and you go in first because she has to pee, that's not reserving a seat. You're there. It's like, this is where my wife and I are.
Buddy system works. I think I would do the movie theater seat. I'm the person amongst my friends that would sit in the theater and I would drape my jacket across 6. And I'd be like,
you piece of shit.
No. What do you mean? We're 6 people. We're 6 people. So here's your choice, pal. Here's your choice, pal. No, let me help you out. Let me do it your way. My 6 friends will sit here. We'll wait for the movie to start. And then one by one, we'll go in the middle of the fucking movie for you and go get snacks. Is that a better experience, mister?
I see what you're doing.
Do you want to do that? Because let's do it that way. Then guys come. No, we have to sit. We have to wait for the movie to start. And then we'll disrupt it for everyone else.
So
but we're all here. We're all here, though.
So what you're saying is you and your friends would conspire against the other
Don't say me and my friends
sort
would
of
conspire. You can't say
well,
that.
no, you'd get together and you'd have this sort of plot, if you will, a plan. And you'd start, you'd figure out a way to manipulate the system where if they didn't do exactly what you wanted to do, then it would be so look, you're not breaking
Is he doing
laws,
one also right now?
But it's going to be so inconvenient for you to do business in our world, the chosen for these 6 seats, chosen these 6 seats.
Who made the movie?
What?
That's true. Jews should get first choice at every movie where the Jew directed.
Explain that he bought the ticket. He's opening the exit door for his 5 friends, and that's why they're not there already.
Yeah. I mean, you'd get in first in line everywhere.
I was thinking the parking lot thing because the parking lot is like now we're dealing with the law, but the movie theater is more.
We're not. No. It's not the law.
Okay.
So first of all, parking lots are private property. The laws of the road don't pertain to them. You fuck those stop signs. Roll right.
But what about
but
what impeding traffic?
Tell me what to do
here.
JC Penney. What the JC Penney can tell me yield or not yield? Fuck you. No. You're not the DMV. So if you rewind me 3 seconds. I'm real stoned.
We were saying we were in the theater reserving 6 seats across.
So in a theater, we're paying money, right? And a lot, right? It's like $20, $25, depending where you are. The parking space is a little bit more like a park bench in some ways. Like I wouldn't sit on a park bench and then give somebody guff if they wanted to sit down next to me and eat their lunch. Like it's a park bench. If I don't like doubling up with somebody, I need to get my ass up.
What if you're lying down on the park bench? We're back in the Wild West.
Then you're a fucking bum.
Sure, but you're allowed to lie on the park bench.
Bums get animal rules. You shoo them away and you spritz them with water.
It's Woody? What if it's not a bum? It's Woody. He just hurt his leg and he needs to lie down and rest.
When's the last time you fell hard? Like when you didn't get right up?
Saturday.
We'll get back to you.
Woody's answers to this. What happened on Saturday, Woody?
We're gonna get back. I would dirt.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you said for me to get back. Last time I fell hard was literally shoveling my driveway about 3 years ago, and I hit my ass so hard on the concrete it was brutal. I felt like an idiot.
Did your feet describe how your feet slipped out? Like what did they both go the same direction?
Well, my driveway is a little bit slanted down like at a decent angle, and so I was facing this way, so I had one foot higher than the other on a slant, and I was trying to get it, and then my lower foot gave out, and trying to recover, I did almost like a little splits, and then like fell down. Yeah.
What
really
part of your ass hit? What part of you hit the ground?
The whole part. Every bit of my ass hit the ground.
I tried to like,
but I kept my neck was rigid because I'm a young virile man. But if I was an older guy, I wouldn't have had that neck and like torso rigidity, and I could have smacked my head.
Is your ass still deformed from a bunk bed accident?
Forevermore.
It is, yeah, forevermore. Yeah. Now well, I was at a bachelor party for a wedding that didn't even end up panning out, and I used to, when I was young, I used to roll out of beds all the time when I was sleeping. Like I still do. I move around a lot in my sleep, and I hadn't done that in, many, many years because I didn't sleep in bunk beds because I was fucking, 28 at the time. And I got to the house we were staying at on the Lake of the Ozarks, and I got there a little late. And so there was nothing available except for the top bunk. So I took that. And on the second night, I rolled so hard into the barrier, and these were not, 5-year-old bunk beds. This is probably 7.5 feet tall. Like I'm very high. And the safety bar was wooden, and it wasn't screwed in. I realized it was just nailed in. And so I rolled into it and knocked it out, and then fell 7.5 feet. People woke up. It was the middle of the night, and they were like, I thought someone was like shooting a gun, because the board, I landed on top of it so hard into the ground, and the board that fell flat dented into the muscle in my upper right ass. And I still have a permanent indentation in my, not on the ass cheek. It's almost like lower back, upper ass kind of there. Like, no part of it is being sat on ever, no matter what position I'm sitting in. But like, yeah, it's just my beautiful, like now, if I like get a great pump in my ass from doing, hip thrusts or whatever, I have to look at my left side because that's my good cheek. I can't look at my right side because that's my bad cheek. And it fills me with a lot of, dread seeing it, because it's like, God, this is ugly and I hate it. And people are going to see
There's no
my ass.
Patreon goal where you share it with the audience?
I thought you were going to say there's a goal where we like refill my ass.
There could
in
be
multiple ways.
Another one.
There's a
you can raise money for the
operation
to fill your ass and then never do it.
Yeah. Genuinely, I was just stupid. Like, I should have gone to the hospital. I should have went to a doctor, because he could have like restitched it together. Like, but there's just a dent in the muscle. Like, there's a separation of the muscle. Like, I can stick my finger back there, like, and feel it hurts, so I don't do it. But yeah, ass is ruined forever. You don't realize like how much as a guy you're like, damn, I kind of want to have a nice ass. And then
I know, I realized that like in the last year or so.
Yeah,
I used to never feel that way. I like skipped out on leg days and stuff, and like working out my ass. I was just like, what's the point? Like, and then like now I'm like, oh, my posterior chain was weak. But having said that, it's just an ugly flat ass. So now when I go to the gym like late and no one's there, that's when I start doing the glute bridge humps and the kickbacks and the hip adductor and abductor. Like, I'm doing all that when no one's there. I'm like, now it's time for that real ass fucking workout. And I'm like, like humping in the corner of the gym, which I would never do when people are there, because I'm like just so big.
Yeah,
it's weird. And then I'm like looking around to make sure no one's looking at me, and I end up making eye contact with every single person while I'm humping. Just nightmare fuel for me.
I work out in a home gym, and some of my exercises are so fucking gay. I'm really happy to have a home gym. Like, I'm doing dead bugs and fucking like dog peeing on thing exercises.
Yeah, dog, that's a great exercise. Dog pee.
Those inner thighs must be on fire.
It's my warm up. And it's mostly for lower back. Like, that's the idea. I have a couple exercises I do, just preventative lower back issues.
That seems smart. That seems to be the thing that gets everybody later in life. What's it called? The big five, the big three.
Tell me about your fall, Woody, because at your age, you never know when the fall
Grim Reaper's coming.
You never know when it's going to be the fall.
So on a dirt bike, I'm not great at dirt biking. If I'm a blue belt at dirt biking, I'm a black belt at downhills. Just like, it doesn't matter, 6 foot drops, whatever. Like, I'm good at that. Whatever. That's just what's up. And I saw this downhill, and I was like, you know what? I think I can do this, even though it was really hard. What I didn't anticipate was how V-shaped the bottom of it was. I thought it'd be more U-shaped, and I made it down the hill well, and then there was no uphill. It was like a greater than 90-degree angle, and the front tire just sort of stopped right in place. I went over the handlebars and landed flat on my back, and stayed there for a bit. So that was the last good fall I had.
How long were you laying there? Were you laying there out of exhaustion, or were you thinking like, oh no, like I could be hurt?
Like a systems check, yeah. Like all right, let's give this a few seconds and see what's up.
Was part of you like, oh, where's the pain gonna go? Like,
just sort of had to collect my thoughts. I don't think I hit my head hard, but there is like I don't also know everything that happened in this. Like how did I get here? It was one of those. That's no fun. Deal.
Glad you're good. I mean, I don't even worry about you falling now. I feel like you're building an immunity.
That's right.
That's how it works.
Be able to take
every day. I take small falls and drink snake venom.
Speaking of people who used to fall for a living, Robbie Knievel died the other day. Son of Evil Knievel.
I noticed three of us all talked about the pour off, and the Jewish guy remained totally quiet.
He just didn't want to make us feel bad because of how hard he had it coming up. Hell, there was only 2 refrigerators in the kitchen. I mean, there was an ice box, but that doesn't count.
And I would never steal poor valor. These are my grandparents. It's not like I inherited like, oh, no water. Oh,
I know.
I didn't steal that shit.
That's one of the I went to a house one time, and that's how I knew that like these were rich people, because they had appliances I'd never heard of. they had shit I'd never seen, but like I don't know, like one of the things I saw was not exactly how I described it, but like their oven was a double wide, double tall up. It was like, what are you, a fucking chef? Like, nah, why not? And the refrigerator was one of those built into the cabinet refrigerators. That's like who makes this? What model is this? Like, you know what I mean?
Who makes it? Who's the company I'm thinking of with all the built-in refrigerators? They're really expensive.
Train.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But there were 2 of those.
Nancy Pelosi.
But then I wanted some ice, and they're like, no, the ice box is right over there. And there's like you go over on the cabinet, or not the cabinet, but the counter, which was incredibly long. The counter must have been 8-10 steps long down this long wall where the double stove was, but you lifted the counter up, and there's just like an ice machine there that makes that nice little tiny ice that everybody loves from restaurants. That's just continuously making it underneath the counter. You just fucking scoop your glass. And I was like, why do you have this like $1,800 ice machine just in case we need some tiny pebble ice? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
These are the kitchen items that impress me. When the burners are not on top of the oven part. I don't know my baking things, but when it's like the oven is built into the cabinet, but the cooktop is somewhere else. That's impressive to me. When the refrigerator is built into the cabinetry and you have to kind of spot the big doors, I'm impressed by that. When instead of a trash can, you have a trash compactor built into the cabinets. Yeah, I like that.
I think that might be old school rich, though.
I've never seen that.
Am I out of date on that?
I think that's like the fanciest beeper kind of situation at this point. I think I could be wrong, because I've just never seen a trash.
I've never seen that.
Like I remember we had one like in ¡88.
Yeah,
but
I'm pulling back the memory banks. What else?
We had wood paneling and wallpaper too.
What else is impressive in a kitchen? What would make you say like, oh, this is a good one?
I like a water steamer. Have you seen those?
The things that get me would be you got to have a wine cooler, because that's just easy. But I want a centralized stove with the like centralized venting right above it, like it's a fucking hibachi restaurant. And like you could be like Emeril Lagasse and have like 6 of your friends sit around you and prepare on that top. That thing is cool. I've seen some like YouTube chefs with something. It doesn't matter. I've seen some cool situations like that. But again, like the refrigerator. Oh, that's one of my pet peeves. What? I really don't like it when people say, "Yeah, I dropped the re." That's upsetting.
Is fridge okay?
Yes, it's perfect. Fridge is my preferred, and
refrigerator is second, and
refrigerator is.
Did I say that? I meant to say refrigerator.
Oh, I don't know. No, I said refrigerator.
Who says refrigerator? Is that like a southern thing?
Wings says refrigerator, and people like wings say refrigerator. Let's just leave it at that.
Fair enough. Okay. Fat people, yeah.
No.
Oh. People who like need to save a syllable every once in a while. They're making so many visits and mentioning.
Yeah,
you know what?
I use many word when few words do trick.
People who don't use the R in library, that one brands.
Let's go to the library. Nah, I can't. My legs hurt. Call the ambulance.
Yeah.
I went to school with a girl who said ambulance, and she never got it right.
Ambulance.
Oh no, she said ambulance.
Oh, so I'm referencing the video where the epic
guy.
beard man fucking KOs that motherfucker over that Stacey Adams spit shine. That's a deep reference I'm laying down for you right now. It's a Stacey Adams spit shining one. How much to shine them Stacey Adams? And dude just kept coming, and like this guy was just waiting, right? Then his shirt said I'm a motherfucker. He was this muscled up. This is old school internet, so like the Gen Z people might not know this. So go back and grab this of internet old
Epic Beard Man will help you.
Epic Beard Man. His shirt says I am a motherfucker, and he beats the shit out of that man.
Is he like a 6'5" Vietnam vet? Maybe?
They made a Danny Trejo movie about him. Yeah, and then they made a sequel that's even more ridiculous, where he like
badass.
It's called Badass, and they make it so that he like stops some gang violence on the bus or some shit. But then he's like, you know what? Maybe I'll just make a thing of this, and like starts cleaning up the whole neighborhood or whatever. Yeah, with Danny Trejo.
I like it when two people get into a fight and they both think that it's obvious they will win it. Like that's. I love that. When one guy's a little like, oh, well, I got to save face. That's no fun to watch, you know? Yeah. Or when one guy's like, well, I never back down. So I'll hope for the best.
I mean, the guy that he beats up on the bus, like, remember in the end, and he like beat up guys like sitting there on the bus and his face is bleeding, but not in a dripping way, in like a constant stream of blood way. Mm-hmm. And now like, all the people who were formerly, were there people on the bus yelling like kick his ass, like about the guy, like kick that old man's ass, which like, first of all, like get your life together, screaming, encouraging fights on the bus with elderly people. And so it was great to see that piece of shit who was going after an elderly guy get absolutely shit canned.
It seemed like the people rooting for the younger guy were doing it along race lines, because the younger guy was kind of trying to bully the big white old guy. Yeah,
well, he was, and then the old guy was like, "Yeah, fuck you, I'm Vietnam Tom." The last tremendous thing that science did. Okay, well, actually, ZBO was pretty good.
Diet Pepsi.
It's gonna be aspartame as a whole. The artificial sweetener aspartame. They've come up with 15 different artificial sweeteners. Cheers! I need to grab.
Even though I'm using a zero mod, so it's not aspartame. I think zero means that it's stevia based. Diets are aspartame, and I think zero sodas are stevia.
I didn't even know. I didn't know, because I get that Coke kind Zero, for the Diet Root Beers.
Coke Zero tastes different. Yeah, so I have Diet Root Beer, and I have that in the
fridge right now.
I like the zero sugars, but this is a zero sugar one. I actually like Diet Root Beer better than zero sugar A and W. They are different, but I like Coke Zero better than Diet Coke these days.
I did not know that about the stevia thing, but I guess it makes sense why
you're a Pepsi guy, right?
I like Diet Pepsi, yeah.
I did the Pepsi challenge on this other podcast, Binge Eater podcast, my podcast. You guys should come on sometime, please.
Happy to.
And I did the Pepsi challenge. Have you ever done that?
I've never tried it, but I think I could get it.
Right? Don't you think you would do it?
Yeah, because Coke has more flavors of vanilla and Pepsi has more flavors of citrus.
Yeah, I lost. I guess wrong.
How do you lose the Pepsi challenge?
Well, the Pepsi challenge is just supposed to be like that you don't care. But I was trying to guess. I drank 2 unlabeled sodas, a Coke and a Pepsi, and I guessed them wrong. And I thought never in a million years would I guess those 2 wrong.
Were they in a cup? Because I'd want.
They were both in a glass.
I'd want to be blindfolded, and I would have to open the can. I need to taste.
No, because you're like, I feel like you pick up the can, you're like, this is a Pepsi.
Okay, well then they can.
You're like, that's a Pepsi.
I have to hear them. They can go like that for me, but it has to be freshly opened. I could tell. I know I could win the Pepsi and the Coke challenge.
I was just humbled. I was humbled by it, by the whole experience.
I don't really buy Coke.
Whoa, a vanilla Coke Zero.
A new challenger arises.
Kyle, does the back of that say that it has stevia or aspartame? For the zero.
And what was it called? Diet or zero?
Is that a zero?
So Harley says it'll be stevia.
I thought they were all aspartame.
Put it to the test.
Aspartame.
The good one, yeah.
I'm
the
a liar.
Not on purpose, though. Doesn't
it also contains phenolalaline. Phenolalaline.
Yeah, that always
but
is
that's
there. It's
probably
like
like a preservative
contains
or something.
phenylalanine, and it's like the fact you're telling me that on every can of soda I drink, and I drink fucking 9 of these a day, 10 of these a day, like that can't be a good amount of phenylalanine to be eating, right?
What is the FDA recommended amount of phenylalanine?
They don't recommend replacing all of your liquid with it. Aside from
this is all
2
I
of these
drink.
of water a day,
Really?
and like protein.
Have you ever had a kidney stone?
Saw.
That's a thing they say. Never.
That's
a lie. So anybody will tell you that
does it make you hungry?
Shit,
that's a thing they say.
I mean, how would I know? It's all.
It's hard to do A/B tests. Yeah.
Are your people more hungry because you live on the mountain? No, we are hungry because we work hard. Like I don't know why I get. You know what I mean? Like how am I going to connect that one? I'll say this: it's all I drink. It's all I've been drinking for years. If you see me with a water bottle, it's not even water most of the time. It's unsweet tea. Like I'm drinking just like I would go to. I still do. I go to Publix, and they have a gallon of unsweet tea for like $1 or something, and I just fill that fucking thermos up with it and put some artificial sweetener in like a half a lemon, and I go through so many of those a day. But I drink at least a 12-pack of this a day, every single day. This and coffee is all I drink, and no, never had a kidney stone, and I've been drinking soda like that my entire life. I've never really drank sugar soda, but like in my household, it's probably the most white trash thing about us. We drank nothing but Diet Pepsi. We didn't drink a lot. We didn't have well water.
My mom's house too. Same.
What
I'm
if
glad
you've had
I'm glad
a
you
few
said
kidney
that.
stones and you just have a fucking awesome urethra that passes them without trouble?
I mean, I get bloody peas like on Thursdays, but I thought that was just because of all the coffee and stems
we
I use
all
for
pee
this.
blood normally.
Yeah. I it's just like you get that sleep, in the corner of your eyes. We all get that from our penises, of course, too, all day, every day. So just a float. What if I was just peeing like grains of rice my entire life, and I just thought that was normal, like crystals?
You might want some penicillin.
So yeah, look, I'm not recommending the fucking Coke Zero lifestyle per se, but it's all I drink. And anybody who said either I have some special ability to not get kidney stones, which seems silly, or soda has nothing to do with kidney stones. You're going to get them if you're genetically predisposed to them. The same way you're going to go bald or you're going to get fat, probably. Like some people, like calories in, calories out. But sometimes you can look at a lady's mother and figure out, sometimes you can, the writing's on the wall, genetically speaking, as far as some things go. Do you want my Super Bowl commercial idea, or do you want a question about a thing from movies?
Both.
Super Bowl lead.
All right, so here's what I want. This is the new Snickers commercial. All right, you got Michael Richards, Kanye West. You're not yourself when you're hungry. You're not yourself when you're hungry. And Michael Richards is going to forgive Kanye for all that shit he said, and Kanye is going to, but they're going to become each other. They're gonna switch, like when they eat the
black
Snickers,
and white face.
Yeah. No. They're gonna like be there, but Kanye is gonna be like being his.
They'll change clothes.
Yeah. No, they'll just like switch place. You've seen the commercials. You're not yourself when you're hungry. You eat the Snickers.
But Kanye acts like Michael Richards when he's not having a Snickers, and Michael Richards acts like Kanye when he's not having a Snickers.
Yeah.
I said the clothes thing because that's how I know they switch bodies.
That.
Like.
Yeah, sure.
That's a very good idea. I like, or you could even rip it off even further and just have a literally like start it with a speech where it's like, I do shine us on the side and hold the seed and then like someone walks up and is like, Mein Führer, gives him a Snickers and then he bites it and it's like Kanye snaps out of it. He's like, what was I saying?
No. It's all that.
A certain candy bar. I'm not allowed to say what kind. It has nougat and peanuts. It's covered in chocolate.
I like
Snickers.
It's a Snickers. It's a Snickers.
Kanye.
It's a Snickers.
The comedic timing of that moment was so funny.
I like what you did there. That was good.
Handing Snickers.
Yeah.
And he like after his whole speech, and then he takes a bite and he's like, "Oh my God, is that what I've been doing to people? I'm horrible. And then he shoots himself in the head in the bunker. And it's like, you're not yourself when you're hungry.
That's actually a really good one too. Man, we gotta approach the Mars Corporation.
We got a good one.
We got some ideas.
Picture this 4K. Like,
no, I will not. It's a hologram. No. You won't even be able to tell the difference. Bring Adolf in.
We found some Argentinian who looks shockingly like him.
Oh no, dude, that would be the best. Like the whole Argentinian thing is funny. Like not funny. It's intriguing.
I don't buy that. I don't
buy it either. But it's intriguing and it's fun to like think. The same way it's fun to think like maybe one of those Gigantopithecus not to the modern day, but maybe lived long enough that our ancestors have myths about them that are based on meeting them. Because like if our like great grandfather, keep adding them M's like that earlier, if he ran into a fucking Bigfoot and they killed them all because they were smart and had spears and shit, but it was hard because they were fucking smart and gigantic, they'd have tales of the giant ape men. And that Native Americans were like, yeah, we used to talk about the giant ape men, but nobody's seen one for 10,000 years. Those things lived here 10,000 years ago.
Yeah, like they were here. They were real. Wait, where have we found like some like a good set of bones of one of those guys?
I think what they do is they go by the teeth and they just like extrapolate from there.
That seems like
if you find like a human molar or like an ape molar that's like, you take like an ape's molar and then you take like the Gigantopithecus molar and then you can be like, oh, all right, we'll just do a little math here and we'll figure out how big he was, right?
I don't think so, because I mean, like they pulled that shit for years. They just figured out dinosaurs had feathers like 10 years ago. Was there a brand new discovery? Like they had all that other stuff to extrapolate from, and they got it wrong, and now they're big birds. Which I think they should have kept that under wraps. Keep them lizards. Let
me ask you this: when did science figure out dinosaurs? When was the word dinosaur used for the first time? When did humans, for the first time in human history, find a dinosaur bone, a fossil, whatever you want to call it, and say, a dinosaur bone, one of those giant lizards that lived millions of years ago? When do you think that happened for the first time?
It was the mid to late 1800s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was those two guys in their bone wars where they like were constantly at war trying to come up with better discoveries.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, they would sabotage each other's discoveries, and then a dude would be like, "There's this great discovery," and then he'd reveal it, and the other guy would be like, "Actually, I faked the whole thing, and look how stupid he is for falling for it." And
they thought they were fucking dragons and shit.
What else are you gonna think? Like, it kind of makes sense. You've heard about dragons throughout like cultures from China to
See, that's the weird thing though. Like
the bones.
But it has to be more than the. It doesn't.
Yeah, but they wouldn't arrive on the same thing. I mean, I don't know.
It's weird that all those cultures across the world have dragons. I've seen like some of those creepy YouTube videos with like, why do all of these cultures across the world have depictions of dragons? Bow, 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 bow. And they show you like carvings of dragons real quick, and you're like, oh, dragons are scary. Could it be that dragons of lore live on to modern day? Bow, bow, bow. And it's like fuzzy pictures of like Loch Ness, like a shadow that might be the crook of an umbrella, and then a branch. And you're like, shit, I don't know, maybe. Where would they be? Maybe in the deepest part. And you're like, this is Discovery Channel? No.
It's like the dragons wouldn't live in the sea.
That's a wyvern.
Yes.
That's a wyvern. Is it wyvern or wyvern?
I always thought it was wyvern.
I thought it was wyvern.
Yeah, you guys might be right.
I think it's back from even Canada, saying the
wyvern.
Joke.
In Canada, it's wyvern, and they're only half as big. And there's no partially hydrogenated soybean oil in it.
No chocolate coating on the wyvern.
On that wyvern. All those bitch-ass Canadian wyverns.
I'm glad they went extinct. No, the only good thing about Canada, as far as I can tell, other than Harley here, and maple syrup. And your assistance during Operation Desert Storm. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I didn't know. Did you know how many Canadians were there just getting friendly fired in Operation Desert Storm?
No,
friendly fired.
There's a lot of them. They like most of the casualties and damage that we sustained were either friendly fire or accidents. We lost several Abrams. I read today. Because there was a fire. And like the soldiers got poisoned. Because when an Abrams burns, guess what its armor's made out of, Taylor? Because hang on,
snake.
Oh, you
asbestos?
wish!
I don't know.
Oh, you wish! You wish!
Is it made out of cyanide?
Worse.
It's worse than cyanide.
I have an idea.
Uranium.
Our brand new fentanyl tank.
Parts of the Abrams, because we needed a tank that our tank's fucking armor is made out of depleted uranium because it's so dense.
Not depleted enough.
Well, when it burns or when it breaks, it poisons. The Gulf War syndrome. Nobody knows exactly what it's, because they talk about the burn pits, but there's like 8 other things that happened there. We airstruck the chemical plants, so sarin nerve gas was leaked out, as well as mustard gas. Over 95,000 servicemen were exposed just from that. And then you keep in mind that they were burning the oil wells the whole time, and that's what does that make? Dioxin. So they're all just getting soaked in dioxin all day. You see in that movie Jarhead, Jake Gyllenhaal's covered in the oil, and they're all like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, sip for fire," whatever those people say.
Yeah,
they're
it's like, no,
poisoned. They're
going to get
slowly
cancer.
being poisoned. Yeah. The other thing was they thought they were under constant fear of being hit by chemical weapons because George Bush had really pumped that up. This is OG Desert Storm for the Gen Z guys. This is the first one. This is you lived through part 2 maybe. And so there were reports of like dead goats and livestock, and this stoked the fears among U.S. and Canadian and Allied servicemen, we'll call them, that not only was nerve gas going to be used, but it was under current use. Like, we're in nerve gas now. It could be drifting onto us now. 5 minutes from now, five minutes ago. We don't know. So they're anti-nerve gas pills. You can take them for like 3 days, and then you have to stop for a day, and then you can start back again. And there's a very specific dose, because this isn't like a multivitamin. It's to keep nerve gas from killing you. So, if it has some other side effects, that's okay, because nerve gas was the alternative. Yeah. Well, these guys are so afraid. They're taking them constantly, overdosing constantly. And it was a common thing. Not just Ted and Jim. Yeah. The whole unit everywhere where they're like, guys, it's coming. It's coming. Look at the goats. They're all dead. When, I don't know, maybe the goats just got shot or didn't get fed for a while or whatever. Meanwhile, they're all like poisoning themselves with that. Nobody knows what causes Gulf War syndrome.
Yeah, well, it's got to be one of those things. Well, probably all those things, right?
I saw that the side effects of overdosing on the anti-nerve agent is pretty much analogous to Gulf War syndrome. So you might nail that down. But then again, there's the burn pits where they were burning all sorts of like nasty, hazardous things. And then the ammunition as well. And those friendly fire incidents, you got to keep in mind, if like a Bradley opened up on, I don't know, a Canadian tank or whatever happened, that shit happened occasionally. The ammo that's splattering, it's depleted uranium too. like we spare no expense. We're so far ahead of the whole, defense budget spending thing. We shoot bullets that the other countries can't afford. Like they wouldn't know what to do with them in some situations, right? Like even those things, that rocket artillery that we're giving Ukraine, it's like $75,000 a shot. Each shell, boom, boom, boom. Because they hit within 3 meters of whatever the fuck they want, like 20 kilometers away or something. And it's not just one big boom. Oh, we made a big hole in the ground and killed anything near it. It like air bursts with like tungsten carbide projectiles that are all like shotgun pellets, but they're moving so fast, Taylor.
Yeah, that's like mean-spirited.
Not like a gun. Like they're moving hyper speeds. So they're cutting through.
Not
tanks.
Slow like a gun.
No, I mean, exactly. We're talking about maybe 10,000 feet per second, maybe 20,000 feet per second. I don't know. Like we're bordering upon turning into pure energy.
Bro, science has gone too far. I got vaccinated 5 times and I still got COVID. Bye.